आज तो medicine has become a business and it's run by the industry. Medicine is not run by science. Medicine has nothing to do with science. Medicine is run by the industry. Now, what is normal blood pressure? What is normal for M Hegde may not be normal for Sanjay. Well, friends, Geeta has warned me. You are going to speak in Hindi. Is that right? My Hindi is not good. You know, I am jealous of Modi ji's Hindi. My Hindi is not good, and my Hindi grammar is very bad. But all the same, I have a simple formula. Communication is trying to understand the audience and trying to be understood by the audience. If that happens, I am fine. Okay? I am going to share my feelings, my anxieties, my worries, and my aspirations for this country with you, vis-a-vis the most wanted profession called medicine. It's no longer a profession, it's become a business. Now that we have taken medicine to the marketplace, aping Americans, we have now made the market forces work on medicine. Market forces are for profit. But Hippocrates had warned us, do not make money in the sick room. Do not make money out of human misery. मुश्किल यह है कि हमारा वो जो कार्य क्षेत्र है वो आदमी का मुश्किल के टाइम में हम पैसे करने का कोशिश करना, ये तो बहुत बुरा है. लेकिन ये तो होता ही है क्योंकि हम मेडिसिन को मार्केट में ले गए एंड मेडिसिन में मार्केट फोर्सेस वर्क कर रही है. आज तो मेडिसिन हैज बिकम अ बिजनेस and it's run by the industry. Medicine is not run by science. Medicine has nothing to do with science. Medicine is run by the industry. And the industry wants profit. And thereby, medicine has been hijacked, so to say. This is what's worrying me. The younger generation who get into medicine with all kinds of good ideas very quickly get converted. One of the great teachers in medicine, Norton Hadler, said, medical colleges convert good students into stupid students, do-gooders into money makers, and completely change the human being by the time he comes out of the medical school. One of the professors of medicine in America, she was 52 years old, asked one of her brightest students in the final year class one question. Patient कौन है? Who is a patient? Do you know what the boy said? ये आदमी जो डॉक्टर के पास जाता है वो patient हो सकता है. A man or a woman who goes to see a doctor becomes a patient. The professor was shocked. She said, is this what I taught you? And then she asked, when does he become a man or a woman again? Do you know what the student said? Rarely ever, if ever. Now you wonder, what is this fellow talking about? This is the truth. Because the minute you go to a doctor for a so-called checkup, you become a patient. Do you know how? We say, oh, his blood pressure is not normal. What is normal blood pressure? Now, a lot of scientists here, what is blood pressure really? I mean, I have not been able to understand that. Though it was my research interest for the last half a century, I don't know what blood pressure is. Any physics teachers here will know that they teach PUC students that laminar flow cannot exert lateral pressure because lateral pressure, if it exerts, it can't flow further. Cosine 90 is 0, right? So a student mucks it up. Student doesn't understand it. We don't allow students to understand the subject in the school. From the day you get into the school, they stop their thinking. We block their thinking because if they think, they ask questions. If they ask questions, we are in trouble. So he mucks it up and then repeats it and vomits it in the CET exam. Gets a first rank, gets into medical school. The physiology professor, very venerated professor, comes to the class and says, blood pressure is the lateral pressure exerted on the vessel wall by the flowing blood. Okay? Just the opposite. He has forgotten that cosine 90 is 0 because he only studied it for the exam. Now he starts mugging this up. blood pressure is the lateral pressure exerted to the vessel wall. Is the blood flowing laminar is the first question. We don't know. Who is pumping the blood? We don't know. And what is the systolic pressure and diastolic pressure? I can understand systolic pressure, which then the heart pumps the blood comes, pressure goes. What is diastolic pressure? In diastole, the heart doesn't pump any blood. Koroko, a Russian scientist, when he was about 30 years old, wrote about these Koroko sounds, which doctors, they put the cuff on their thing and then they lower the pressure. And then when the sound comes, they say systolic. When the sound disappears, they say diastolic. And beyond the disappearance of the human hearing, there are a lot of other sounds happening. You can't hear because they're ultra sound, beyond the human hearing sound. So your diastolic pressure may be much lower if the last sound is there. If it is recorded by the doctor as 100, it may be even 70 or 60. So what is his blood pressure? Now I'll ask you some question. A woman bleeds after a childbirth. Bahut khoon jata hai. Blood pressure falls. So what has changed? The volume has changed. Blood volume has come down. Or doctors, we give a lot of drips, sometimes we overfeed the drip. And then the blood pressure goes up. What happens? Volume goes up. So what is this pressure and volume difference? Now we say if you have an obstruction in a vessel, your blood pressure goes up. Now if you have an obstruction and you know the physics of an obstructed flow, you will be surprised that it's very interesting. Totally opposite of what you are saying. Now this is where I have not understood blood pressure. Okay, that's all right. Now what is normal blood pressure? What is normal for M Hegde may not be normal for Sanjay. Our biggest non-science of Western medicine is we have one size fits all policy. How do you arrive at this? हम क्या करते हैं? How does one find out what's the normal blood pressure? We take an average. I met the professor of statistics. Where is she? Good. I didn't want to tell her. There's a nice book written by a professor of statistics in Washington University. His name is Stephen Milloy. And he is a statistics professor, epidemiology professor. He has written this beautiful book called Science Without Sense. That is statistics. And there are various methods of distorting facts in statistics. Very simple. Now I'll tell you how we do it. He calls it as Texas sharpshooting. That is, we do some study and the data doesn't fit into our hypothesis. So then we search where does the data somewhere fit into it. And then say that is my point. So he says if a new man is given a gun, let's see, Kumar knows how to shoot a gun. Supposing he gives that gun to me because I am his friend and I shoot at the wall, the bullets will go all over the place. Then do you know what I do? I go in near the wall and search for a place where 2 or 3 bullets have come near each other and that was my bullseye. You understand that?